Hi, my name is John Festinger, and this is the video blog for News of the Week, October 29, 2014, in association with the video game law course at the University of British Columbia's Faculty of Law. This week, we're going to take on some challenging subjects, which have very much been part of the world here in British Columbia and in Canada this past week, and each in their own way have a personal resonance for me in terms of my career and my interests. So that confluence makes it rather unavoidable that I end up talking on the subjects. They are three very different stories that have all sorts of unique complexities, each to the individual story. But I'm going to focus on a couple of places where they may overlap and where, in my opinion, they do overlap. The three stories are, firstly, Gamergate, which is an ongoing saga, one that is hopefully ebbing a little bit. Secondly, the GN Ghomeshi firing from the CBC because of certain allegations relating to his personal life and his online reaction to that. And finally, the vote by members of the Law Society of British Columbia, of which I'm a member, against the accreditation of Trinity Western University's proposed law school. So what my purpose today is just to point out where there are commonalities. These are three circumstances that are very, very different from one another. So I'm not suggesting that the facts are the same. I'm really going to just point out where arguments, in my opinion, run afoul of a certain kind of reality. And I'm doing this in aid of a deeper understanding of Gamergate at the end of the day. So the Ghomeshi story and the Trinity Western story are really in aid of making certain points about Gamergate. So the first factor that seems to be in common is that in each of these stories, the reactions of Ghomeshi, the Gamergate community, and Trinity Western have a certain sense, in my opinion, of reframing to them. The Gamergate one is well known. It's not about misogyny. It's not about hatred of women. It's not about violence against women. It's actually about video game journalism. Say what? But that's the reframe. The initial Ghomeshi reframe was, it's about my personal sex life, and no one has any right, including the CBC, to have anything to do with my personal sex life. And that was, of course, coupled with the notion and the claim that there wasn't violence against women, certainly not of the non-consensual variety in the Ghomeshi world. And the reframe of Trinity Western, and you might want to look at their reaction to the vote, is it's about freedom of religion. So the first thing is just to focus on how things get reframed. The second commonality is that in all three examples, Gamergate, Ghomeshi, Trinity Western, there seems, again, in my opinion, to be perhaps not as much understanding as there should be that others would see this differently, or even more significantly, that others might be hurt as a result, and literally or figuratively hurt. Because obviously in the Trinity Western situation, we're not talking about physical damage. In the other two, we perhaps are. But we are still talking about individuals who can be hurt psychologically or otherwise. The third commonality is what I would see, and what in my opinion is a disconcerting amount of seeing oneself as the victim and of being victimized. That's certainly true of Gamergate, and again, in my opinion, I see that pretty clearly in the Ghomeshi situation, and I see strains of it in what I read and listen to in respect of Trinity Western. Just a sense of feeling sorry for oneself and feeling victimized. So none of those things are terrifically attractive qualities, which may explain the pretty significant public reaction against all three of these particular actors. But they are important for us to be aware of, and very interesting, I hope, for you to think of Gamergate in terms of some other rhetorical arguments that are going on out there, as you focus in on Gamergate and what's right and what's wrong. It's always good to have outside examples and examples that are outside the particular area that you're focusing in on. So hopefully this will be of some assistance. Thanks, and look forward to speaking to you next week.